Before I hand it over, I know he can speak English, but somehow, somewhere, we wanted to be, he needs interpreter. We don't have Pastor Victor once again, but thank God we have a person that gonna be reaching PhD in linguistic. And then her name is Carissa from Eugene. Drive all the way with Yuli and Lina. And come on, Carissa, helps us. Come on, praise the Lord. You want to sit right there?
Good morning, church. Very happy to be here. It's a privilege when Pastor asked me to come. I really considering not to come. Especially when he told me that I need to be prepared speaking, delivering the sermon in English. I want to thank you for the 8 years Kenny and Patrick was here. All of you supporting them. I want to really thank you for this church. Thank you for Pastor Oscar and Ibu Ellen. Today I want to talk about faith. After the pandemic, especially in Asia, in Indonesia, I found out a lot of people have their faith a little bit shaken, or a lot shaken probably. Losing the beloved ones, losing their company, losing their job. So most of the churches losing a lot of members. But I believe God is in control. Our faith is not in our situation. Our faith is not in our job. Our faith is in our God. So today I'll be talking about faith. What's the misunderstanding about faith? Sometimes we have Sometimes we have wrong understanding about faith. We're thinking about faith like something like inner power, something that we develop. Have you seen the movie, The Kung Fu Panda? 2008, we found that movie, very interesting movie about Po. This panda, the fat panda, and then he thinks that he can become a warrior. But what he likes is not training. What he likes is sleeping and eating, getting fat. But he was chosen to be the dragon warrior and trained by the master Sifu. At the end, he developed himself, become very strong, and he has that inner power. So a lot of time we think faith is like that. We grow our faith until a certain point that we are so strong and we can overcome everything, and we have no more problems, and all our prayer is answered by God. So when we pray so powerfully, God cannot deny or reject our prayers. But faith is not that. Faith is not something that we push to God what we want. A lot of people quoted Hebrew 11, saying that faith is the substance that we hope for, the evidence, things of not seen. So we think if we can develop that kind of faith, so we can be so strong in our faith that whatever we want, we will get from God. But I believe faith is totally different. Sometimes when we go through problems, difficulties, challenging times, probably even losing loved ones, we need to understand whatever we go through, however it's so hot for us, however heavy, God is always right, and God is always love us and be with us. It's easy to say that we have strong faith when everything goes well. But faith is tested when we go through tough times, when we face challenging times, when we have problems in our life, losing ground, when we need to take a stand. But at that time, we understand we have God that always be with us. God who will never make mistake. God who always be on time in our life. Let's go to the Hebrew 11, verse 6. Hebrew 11, verse 6 said, "But without faith it is impossible to please Him. For he who comes to God must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him." First is that we need to believe that He is God. He is not just somebody up there that don't know anything and don't care for everything, but He is a God that created the whole universe. He is the God who sent His Son to die for us. He is God. And He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. When you heard this word reward, what comes to our mind? What comes to your mind when you heard that God is a rewarder? For me, probably I will be thinking I will have a good family. I will have a good business if I diligently seek Him. My children will grow up, become children that love their parents. Is that the reward that He's talking about here? God says, if we look for Him and diligently seek Him, we will have a reward. What kind of reward we are expecting from God? After this, we go through a few verses. Then we will see what kind of reward that He's talking about. Because a lot of time we have a wrong perception when God says He will reward us. I will give more, so I will get more. I will serve more, so will God will give me more again in my life. But is that the reward that we want? Because if that's what we're expecting in our life, I can guarantee you 100% we'll be regretting in our life. During the pandemic, people lose their company and they say, I give to the church. I serve the church. In Indonesian, they say, nggak usah Tuhan-Tuhanan lagi. No more God in my life. I give everything. I serve the Lord. I lose everything. There's no reward in serving the Lord. Then I start reading Hebrew 11. In Hebrew 11, it's not only the first verse that is important. The whole chapter talk about faith. What kind of faith that he wants? He said in Hebrew verse 4, by faith Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gift, and through it, he being dead still speak. When I was small, go to the Sunday school, I learned that Abel offered animals offering to God, and Cain offered veggies. So in my mind, God doesn't like veggie, He likes animals. Pork knuckles, ribs is better than broccoli. That's why he received the offering of Abel and rejecting Cain. How many people rather have pork knuckle and ribs rather than broccoli? Raise your hand. Wow. How many of you rather have salad? Raise your hand. Okay. So that's what in my mind, that God chose animal offering better than the vegetable. But when I read it over and over, it says that Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice. It's not the pork knuckle or the broccoli, but it's the heart that gave and present the offering. The attitude of giving the offering. A lot of time in my life, I look back and I see, try to look into my life. As I grow in the Lord, Do I give a better offering to the Lord? Or I just have a memory of I did it before? Every time we go to the church, every Sunday, I like Shirley's testimony. She always come expecting God. She always come expecting God. A lot of time we become so used to God. He is like our friend. We can come late and He is okay. He will understand me. I can come unprepared. It's okay. He is my good buddy. He will understand me. There's no verses in the Bible that will testify on that one. We come to God trembling before Him. He is the Lord. He is the boss in our life. If you are invited to White House by President Trump, will you come unprepared? Or you will get your best thing done in the morning? By faith, Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice. When I came this morning, the praise and worship team is practicing. You can give them a clap offering for that. But in my church, not here, some of the congregation says the song is not in tune. They are singing out of tune. The drummer doesn't have the good pace or whatever. But most of these people who criticize doesn't even come and pray for them. By faith, Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice. It's not talking about the more expensive thing. It's just a better sacrifice. Jesus is talking about a widow who giving 2 coins. And it's written, during the last week of his life on this earth, he spent a time sitting, watching this widow, people giving offering. One by one passed by, giving offering. And then he noticed, there's an old widow, a poor widow. This poor widow gave 2 coins. Everybody's sacrifice, the persembahan, the offering. Most of the people offering has no sound, probably the dollar. But this widow, the offering have a very nice sound, ding, ding. And then he said to all the people that this widow gave the most out of everybody. It's not about the broccoli or the pork knuckle. It's about the heart giving the best for God. Every time we come, we want to give the best that we can have for God. One time I was invited to speak for a retreat. In the morning, because of jet lag, I wake up very early in the morning. And I go to the room is empty. But in that room, I saw one of the peserta, one of the participants, a leader who is in the room early in the morning. And I heard a sound, it's a vacuum cleaner. In the early morning, nobody in the room, and that guy vacuumed the room. I can hear the sound, and I look at him. I hear the sound as beautiful as what we sing this morning. Probably we cannot sing. Probably we cannot preach. Probably we are not the best giver, the biggest giver. But yet, whatever we do, make it an excellent sacrifice to God. I believe faith is not just getting things from God, but faith is giving the best, the better offering for God. In Hebrew 11:24 says, by faith Moses, when he became of age, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction from the people of God than to enjoy the passing pleasure of sin, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasure of Egypt, for he looked to the reward. I asked you before, what kind of reward we try to get from God? This Moses is the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Probably, if you comparing to this time, he is the crazy rich, right? The crazy rich boys. He get everything what he wants. He drives around with his Lambo, the chariot at that time, the best chariot of the time. He has the best horses. He has the greatest follower in Instagram. He is the best of the best, the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Whatever he wants, he can get it. He can speed and nobody stop him. But when he come of age, he decided he refused all of that. So when I read through this thing, Moses got everything what we want. We want riches, he got it. We want status, he got it. He want protection, he got everything. He want to be socially on the top, he got everything already. And then he refused. So I'm really confused, and I think Moses must be not smart. If he is smart like us, he will not refuse what he has. I graduated from Austin, Texas, Soetjipto here, my friend. So most of us graduated in America are smart. That's why we are not like Moses. We want something that he refused. We want and we fight and we give all our time, we give all our family to get what Moses refused. If we think about the reward, Moses get all the reward what we want when we serve God. But he said, that's not the reward. I rather refusing all those to get the real reward. What is the real reward when we diligently seek him? The real reward is we get a good relationship with him. What are we really looking for in this life? Are we trying to get what Moses refused? Or we want to be like Moses, a little bit dumb, but get the best in his life, to get God in his life. One time in my cell group, there's a will-be couple. They are in counseling, and they want to get a house, but they don't have enough money even for the down payment. So they share with us, they are praying to get that down payment. After a few months pass, and then suddenly the guy said that I want to share a testimony, what's happening in our life. And the date to get married is closer and closer, but they cannot get a house yet because there's not enough money. And then this is what he shared to us. He said, hey guys, actually in my office, I'm taking care of the importing of goods from China. And my boss assigned me to take care of the forwarder of the shipping from China. And I tried to find a company, a forwarder company to take care of that. It will be 10 containers from China. When we tried to ask for a few bidders, I found a company that is very competitive. Not only competitive, the company offered me every container that he will get to take care for my company, he will give me a commission of certain money. And the 10 container that he take care of that time, the commission is just exactly the same as the down payment that he needs. So we have been praying for 2 weeks whether to accept the commission or not to accept the commission. And then everybody become like, okay, so what do you do? What do you do with that? One time I shared this, and one people in congregation says, praise the Lord, God answered prayer. But what this guy says, his name also Soetjipto. He said, I asked my girlfriend, she said no. But I'm struggling. But what you decide? We want to know the end. What do you want? What did you decide? And then he said, after a lot of struggles, I decided to tell the company that will take care of our staff. I will choose you to take care of my company importing throughout all this business. But please, the commission you can deduct from the price that you're going to charge my company. I will not take the money. Everybody just keeps silent. I don't know if it's in our life what we will choose. Because he said, I'd rather be struggling to get a house, but I can make sure I can please the Lord. Wow. And if you have a lot of money, a lot of extra, it's easy to say no. But in that kind of situation, you want to get married, there will be no house. It's offered to him, it's not his asking. And he can say no. It's an honor for me to be in the one cell group with him. During the worship night song, there's one song, Give Me Jesus, You Can Have Everything Else. Is that correct, that song? When I see that song, I'm really thinking, is it for me? Is it Jesus the most important? Oh, I forgot. Is Jesus the most important in my life? Do I really need only Jesus? It's easy to sing, it's harder to walk in, right? In that word, when he looked to the reward, the word is apoplepo. Apoplepo means to look away from everything else in order to look intently to the one of the reward. Everybody around us, the world, the social media, will call us to take our attention. If we are not very careful, we can lose our intent look to the God who called our life. Because of faith, Moses refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Because of faith, in Hebrew 11:30, by faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they were encircled for 7 days. By faith the harlot Rahab did not perish with those who did not believe when he had received the spies with peace. And what more shall I say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and Barak and Samson and Jephthah, also David and Samuel and the prophets, who go through faith, subdue kingdoms, work righteousness, obtain promises, stop the mouth of lions, quench the violence of fire, escape the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, become valiant in battle, turn to flight the armies of the aliens. Talking about great victory. When was the last time we have great victory in our life? When was the last time we can tell that we have done something mighty for Lord? The things that we can always share is when we are blessed by God. I got a raise, I got blessing, I got healing. But when I read this, the victory that the people go through, they really fight for something that God planned for their life. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when Kenny decided to get married, that's during the pandemic. And then in Asia, us as parents, it's our responsibility to make sure the wedding reception, the house and everything. Kenny, he is very, very considerate. So he's not asking me for money or whatever, but he always asks, Dad, how's the wedding will be? It's coming to closer. How about the money and everything? He's not really pushy, but it's put me also in very situasi yang berat. Oh, difficult position. Thank you. I have a few property, but during that time, nobody buying anything. Nobody buying anything. At the beginning, before the pandemic, I have a piece of land that I want to sell. I got a bidder already, and we agreed upon the price already. He want to buy it to build a hotel. He is a hotelier, and he has hotel in Jakarta and in Bali. But after we commit to the price, he said, let's wait for 2 weeks because the pandemic just started and the people from China canceling their reservation in his hotel in Bali. In Indonesia, everything's still going fine, but the people from China is stopping already, nobody traveling. So after the 2 weeks, he said, I'm sorry, I cannot go on with the buying the property because of the pandemic start already. So we go into the pandemic, nobody buy anything. All the hotels are empty, all restaurants are empty, nobody buying property. And then when I'm thinking about Kenny's wedding that is come closer and closer and closer, I don't know what to do. So I'm thinking probably I should take a loan from the bank. But there's a call. Somebody call and then cancel it. Somebody call and give a very bad bidding. Until one day I got this call. Somebody want to buy my land. But when I met with him, he said this, I'll give you a down payment. After I give you the down payment, I try to resell the property. Hopefully, I can get a better offer. So I asked him, if you cannot get better offer, then you return my down payment. Oh, that's not good. So we bargained. We bargained a few times, and he said, okay, you can raise your price, but I will pay it installment for 2 years. Okay, so how much down payment you will give? He said it a certain amount of down payment. And I said, how about this down payment? If you cannot continue, what will happen? And he said, okay, the down payment, you can have it if I cannot continue for the 2 years. And I look at the down payment, I say, it's okay. I know this guy will not go through for the 2 years for sure, but at least I will get the down payment for the wedding. I told Pa Andreas, he said, that's not a good idea. But I said, I have no better idea than this one. And then he asked me to go to notary. We get everything drafted. After we get everything drafted, in that morning when I drive, I got a text message. I opened the text message. The guy who 2 years before bid for my land asked me, how are you, sir? And whatever. And blah, 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 blah. Suddenly I just feel this is from God. And I say, I'm doing well. And then he asked me after that, is the land still available? At the time, still pandemic. I say, yeah, it's still available. Can you wait for 1 month? I will fly to Surabaya. I will bring my colleague and I will fly to Surabaya. And I said, I cannot wait for a month. I can only wait for a week. Because next week, I'll sign this transaction with the buyer. Oh, can you wait for a week then? Yes, I will wait for a week. And then he decided to fly into Surabaya. That's on Monday. We met him in Batu, Malang. We talk about half an hour. We go to the notary. The next morning, I get it signed. I get the whole thing sold. The guy, oh, this is good. Okay, thank you. But I haven't finished yet. It's okay. Once it's done, at that time, he wanted to renegotiate the price. I say, I cannot, because somebody gave me an offer already. I send you the draft. God miraculously arranged the draft already in my hand. I can just WhatsApp him, and he read it. I said, the price is not the price that we talked about last time, because this guy said, I'll do installment, you can increase the price. So I get the better price this time. And then after the transaction done, 1 month after that, the broker that called me with the previous buyer that want to do the installment told me, do you still remember that buyer? I said, yes. Do you know what? The company is already bankrupt. So God actually provides a bidder that doesn't buy. So the new buyer doesn't bid anything, doesn't negotiate. I can tell that God is a good God. He is a miraculous God. He can do anything that He wants. But yet, it's just a personal story. When I read this story, somebody gave their life to fulfill God's calling. It's a totally different level. One time I'm invited to speak in a small setting. I was given a dress in the mid of town. I believe it's an office building. So I prepared to speak with people who are in the office worker. But when I come, most of the people that are there are old people from the lower economic scale. So what I do is, I think I make a mistake. So I need to re-prepare my sermon to accommodate all the people who will be listening to my sermon. So when I sit and open my iPad, somebody go up and give testimony. And then this simple man give testimony, and he said this, brother and sister, my job is selling grill pentol. You know pentol? Pentol is bakso. You know bakso? Meatball, okay. And he's from Surabaya, so he's selling the grill meatball on the side of the road with that small tricycle. And he said, I pray to God that God will use me to win people. And then he said, one time there's a person come to buy my pentol, my bakso, this grill meatball. You know pentol by this time, right? The grill meatball, okay. He said he want to buy the pentol. But this guy come and his face is so muram. Depression, okay. Full of depression, full of problems. So I tried to talk to him, try to comfort him. Because in his heart, he only have one purpose, to win people for Jesus. And then he said, okay, but I believe God can help you. I want to pray for you. And he said, no more about God. I don't want to know more about God. I'm here at this point because a Christian friend cheated me. And then I was fired also from my job. So don't talk about God. But this man already prayed that he will win a soul for Jesus. So he fed him with this pentol, then talked to him again. Probably after his stomach filled, he softened down. And then he agreed to be prayed for. So this man said, I will be praying for you and your wife. And where do you stay? He said, I'm staying not far from here. Okay, let's go to your house. I want to pray for you and your wife. And then the guy says, how about your ini apa? Tempat dagangannya ini apa? Becaknya ini. Your card. Okay, how about your card? Just leave the card here. It's okay. I'll walk with you. And then he left the card. All he has, all his wealth, he left it on the side of the street. He walked to the house of the guy and prayed for him and his wife. The guy repented, go back to church again, and then he get a job. And then he said this morning, I didn't sell anything. I closed down my cart, especially want to come here to tell you about the story that a man was saved. When I heard the testimony, I say, God, he should be the one preaching. He should be the one who gave the sermon. I have a big testimony. You can give me a hand clap, but I can tell you, this testimony is a bigger thing in God's eyes. All these people who have faith, they fight everything to fulfill God's calling in their life. I believe that is faith. Because of faith, in Hebrew 11:35, women received their dead raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they may obtain a better resurrection. Still others had trial of mocking and scourging, yes, and of chains and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn in two, were tempted, were slain with a sword. They wandered about in sheepskin and goatskin, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and mountains, in dens and caves of the earth. And all this, having obtained a good testimony through faith, did not receive the promise. All these people have a chance to be delivered, and yet they say, no need. I want a better resurrection. We are praying that God will never put us in temptation. We pray that God will never have us any problem. We pray that all our company will go smooth. But these people pray differently. They say, I want to have this persecution so I can take on my body what Jesus go through. He chose to suffer. He chose to suffer. When I read all these verses, it's totally different from what I think as a Christian hope for from God. I have another friend from Austin, Texas. His name is Song. Still remember Song, Tito? Okay. He's graduating from University of Texas. He is my roommate. He is an Indonesian, a Singaporean Indonesian. His father lives in Singapore. In Singapore, everything is expensive. The property is expensive. But his father has a landed house. His sister has a landed house. His brother has a landed house. Himself has a landed house. Big ones. So they are come from a rich family. Even the father works with a company in Indonesia, big company, doing together in Malaysia, opening cigarette company. So you know he is big. One day he let us know that he is moving to Vietnam. So what I think, he want to start a company in Vietnam. He said, no, I'm going to Vietnam to become a missionary to start a church. We are from Indonesia, wishing someday we have a house probably in Singapore. And this guy has a landed house in Singapore, moved to Vietnam. I'm still thinking, oh no, how come somebody graduated from University of Texas at Austin is so dumb? Leave everything. Choose something so worse. Move to Vietnam. He told us, don't send email, don't talk about God. I'm in a dangerous situation here in Vietnam. After a few years, he wrote us, I'm moving. I think he moved to a better place. No, he chose to move to Myanmar. What a dumb choice. Vietnam is bad enough. He chose Myanmar. He chose to Myanmar. He has his children, his wife, moved to Myanmar. He has 2 daughters, twin, and then he has a son. And his son is autistic. He sacrificed so much, and yet he can blame God. After serving God, giving everything, he got an autistic son. After a few years in Myanmar raising a church there, he decided to go back to Singapore so that his son can have education for autistic children. The last time we went to Singapore, I tried to text him to meet him in Singapore. He said, I'm no more in Singapore. I already moved to Penang to open a school for Myanmar refugees. I cannot understand how people choose such a choice full of suffering when they can have everything that we want, everything that we fight for. But I believe when we follow Jesus, it's not just calling to be rich, it's not just calling to be blessed, but it's also a choice to choose to suffer. Patrick told me, Pak Wisman always go to the gym every morning. People who go to the gym, they go there, they pay the due just to lift the iron, right? If you move to the construction place, you lift the brick, you get some money. Why you pay the personal trainer to torture you to lift iron? It's a choice, right? It's a choice. Some people seek God diligently so their condition can be better, can be blessed even more. Some people who have everything, they give away so they can suffer with Christ. One time I was invited to speak, I think I have my time. I was invited to speak in Malino in one Bible school. It's 2.5 hours from Makassar. It's in a small village. When I entered the Bible school, it's a very simple Bible school. So they gave us the best room that they have, the pastory. So when I enter my room, it's a simple room with one bed and nothing else. No AC. When I lay down, I look at the ceiling. The ceiling has a big hole, and I can see the roof tile. Beside all the walls, I can see spiders and insects. One thing I hate is a dirty bathroom, but there I have no choice. The bathroom is small and it's dirty. I tried to sleep that night. God gave me grace to be able to sleep, although some spiders crawling. In the morning, I heard a commotion outside, like 5 o'clock in the morning. People running around. I don't know what is that. So in the morning, we have breakfast. For the speaker, they have the best breakfast available. They have chicken and fish. But in the afternoon, I realized that was a luxury because all the students only have rice and veggie. So when I walked to the aula, the auditorium to teach, I met this one man trying to plant something. Since I like plants, so I stopped by and asked him, "Pa, what are you doing this morning?" He told me something that is not really right. So I asked the second time, "What are you doing?" And then he said, "Saya menanam perut anjing. I plant the dog stomach." I said, "Oh." Then I realized what happened. This morning, there is a dog walking through into the Bible seminary, and everybody says, "Thank God for the protein." So they go after the dog and eat the dog. That's an experience. I was invited again in Semarang. About half an hour from Semarang, there's a Bible school. I got into, I need to teach that day. Some of my friends already get a room, a speaker room, but they run out of the speaker room, so they say, "Can you wait until night? We'll give you your room." I say, "Okay." So I teach first. After dinner time, he said, "I'll show you to your room. It's not the speaker room, but it's the teacher's room. It's an empty one." So I go to the teacher's room. It has 2 rooms inside, and they gave me the bigger room. And he turned on the AC. When he turned on the AC, the AC flap is open, and then suddenly the wall is full of ants come out from the AC. Literally thousands of ants fill up the wall. And the guy also shocked. I'm also shocked. It's like a horror movie. And then he said to me, I'm so sorry. We haven't tried the AC before. But can you just go for dinner first? In 2 hours, I'll prepare another room. There's a small room next door. It's full of stuff. We take it as a gudang storage. So after we clean it, you can sleep there. I say, okay, so we go out for dinner. And then when I come back, the room is clean already. It has AC also, the storage room. So I can stay there for that night. At 11 o'clock, try to sleep. It's hard to sleep in a new place, but I get to sleep at that night. But at 12 o'clock, when I wake up, the light is out. The light is out, so I look at the window. Outside, the light is on. So I come out. And then I heard this sound, teet, teet. In Indonesia, you have this prepaid token for electrical, right? If you haven't been to Indonesia, go to Indonesia for missionary work. So at my house, I don't use the prepaid bill token. I use the monthly one. So I never fill out a token before. But it's 12 o'clock. I will not wake anybody up just to buy token for me. So I try to fill in the token. But I don't know which number to punch in. I buy it twice in Tokopedia. I try to put it in, but it's locked out because I make the wrong one probably. I say, if I cannot sleep tonight, I cannot teach in the morning. So I try to go to the tempat satpam, security office. There's one guy there. I told him, I cannot sleep because the light is out. Oh, sorry, sir. But the dormitory head just went in. So I will call him. So the guy tried to help me, tried to punch in the number, but it doesn't help at all. And then he said, I will call the PLN, the electric company. The electric company is very good. The guy I can hear, he say, we will help you as soon as possible. Give us at least 6 hours. That's 12 a.m. already in the morning. 6 hours. I said, no, I'll just go to the hotel. Don't worry, I pack my bag. I'll go to the hotel. I'll drive half an hour to Semarang. I'll sleep there. I'll be back in the morning. The guy said, no, we just help you. But he cannot do anything. But when I packed everything already, I want to go. He said, it's working now. I I check it, it's working. So almost 1 o'clock, I go into the room again, open up my bag again, try to sleep. But the question is, after all this experience, will I still go? Will I still go, or I will say I will not teach anymore? It's a choice to make. I can sleep at my house, better place, or I can sleep at hotels. I can pay for my own hotels. But that's what they gave us. If we want to serve, we cannot choose. If we want to be effective for the Lord, we cannot choose what we want. All these people choose to suffer. Suffering is a privilege. Suffering is privilege. All of us try to avoid suffering. Suffering is privilege. I think Pak Wisman knows. Suffering is a privilege, right? Not everybody can do it. But suffering is a privilege. I want to close with this story that I heard from a missionary. There's a church in America, in small rural town. And this missionary shared that in a mission field, you need a lot of funds to win people. So there's a widow here with 3 sons. He's a poor widow, worked as a maid. But when she heard that all the money that is collected can fund and win people, he told God this, Lord, I don't have much. Probably I don't have enough. But if you can give me more than what is enough, I will give it to the mission field. That's her promise to God on that Sunday. She works daily in people's house. So on Monday morning, he talked to the owner of the house, let's say Mr. A. He said to Mr. A, when you work the whole day today, I'll be cleaning your house, I'll be praying for you. And Mr. A just smiled and just left, doesn't even believe what she said. But on that day, the phone rings so many times. He is so busy receiving orders. When afternoon comes, he realized that day he collected orders almost worth a month of orders. And then it comes to his mind that the maid this morning say she will be praying for him. So he quickly go home, pay her wages, and give a lot of tip, big tip for her. And then the next day, the maid go to Mr. B's house, do the same thing. Mr. B also getting miracles in his office. Mr. C and so on. The next Monday, she is back in Mr. A house again, and she said to Mr. A, Mr. A, the whole day I'll be praying for you while cleaning your house, that God will bless you. This time, Mr. A nodded and tried to believe what she said. The whole day is full of order. And then he quickly go home, meet with the maid, and give her wages and a bigger tip. As a businessman, he is good with counting how to make profit. So he make an offer to the maid. Can you work here 6 days a week? I will increase your salary. But pray for me every day. And she said, no, tomorrow I need to go to Mr. B, the next day to Mr. C. Can you pray for me even in Mr. B's house? Say, no, I cannot. I will be praying for Mr. B. Businessman, always businessman, right? You know that. But what they don't know, after receiving so much tip, the way she dresses, the way she looks doesn't change. Because according to her promise to God, whatever more than I receive right now, I will send it to the mission field. So she collect the money, send it to mission field. Collect the money, send it to mission field. After a few weeks, Mr. A think, this lady is so poor. I gave her tips, and she doesn't do anything with the tip. So he said, this is a sum of money, buy you yourself a new jacket. On the way home, he said to God, God, this jacket is good enough. I don't need to buy a new one. But probably this money can win a soul. After a few months, everybody feel guilty. Their company are blessed, and this lady is still poor. So they try to find a way to bless this lady. One day, this lady goes to the grocery store nearby, and she buy whatever she need. When she want to pay, the cashier said, your account is filled with money. You can take anything you want. Mr. A will pay for your groceries. So she started using a better food for the children. When at the end of the month, when she want to pay for the apartment, the landowner say, you don't need to pay, Mr. B, pay for your apartment, it's free. Somebody starts sending new furniture. Somebody starts sending new clothes. The children gets better. She still works as a maid. When the missionary get back from the mission field, comes to the pastor, thank the pastor that the church supported him so much. The pastor doesn't believe. Said, we don't send anything. And then the missionary said, this maid sent me, mentioned her name. And he said, impossible. Because she lives in our, yang masih disumbang, jemaat yang disumbang. This congregation receives money every month from the church to support her. The church supporting her every month. So without the pastor know all the money the church gave her, she doesn't need it. She also sent it to the mission field. The point is this. When we serve God, we give the best of our life for Him. He takes care of His children. When we seek for ourselves, we seek our blessing, we will receive our blessing, but we might be missing what is the most important. The greatest reward that we should receive is Himself. We have a choice this morning what to choose in our life. To pursue our dreams or to pursue God's dream for our life. To pursue our plans or to pursue God's plan for our life. I believe God has big plan for each of us. He died on that cross, not just to heal our sickness, not just to bless us, but to bring this whole world, the whole mankind, back to Him. It's our job. God bless you. I invite the music team. While we're going to sing this song, I'll Surrender All, I invite each one of us to consider our life. Probably in the past, we serve a lot, we give a lot. But today, we think it's over. The time is over. I'm old enough. I've served long enough. But I want to tell you, the harvest is plentiful. The time is now. Let's rise and let's sing together. I surrender all.